Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Absolutely Women's Football Show, home of Team Chaos, and for this week only, Team Lurgy as well. All of us are coming down with something. So if you hear coughs, sneezes, and splutters, do not worry. You can't catch anything through the telly. However, that won't stop us talking all things women's football, of course. And you never know. We usually throw in a service station, Judy Merry, and probably shout Kent at someone as well throughout the show.
Have you seen the comments? That's all I'm saying. The comments are off and running because I went and had a look to see if they'd started before us, and they hadn't actually waited for us this time. But...
That's because we were actually on time for once, and I didn't lose my watch. And Mark is usually here 5 minutes early. Good evening, Mark. We beat you on the live. Very good.
He's third today.
I know, yeah. And good evening to Emma, Team Chaos Initiation. Welcome to Emily. Yeah, so Emily, brand new face on the pod this evening. How are you?
Ill, but apart from that, good.
It's okay. It's a requisite for this week that you've just got to be on the pod. So yeah, we've all got lots of liquids, lots of Lemsip, other brands are available, and lots of croakiness going on. So it'll be fine. But this is our dedication, and Graham welcomes you as well. And he says good evening to all of us, and good evening to Simon as well. Thank you for joining us. Good evening to Emily as well. We are good apart from the illness, but never mind. There is one more thing, of course, we need to do. Speaking of Kent, it is happy birthday to Queen of Podcast Quizzes, our very own Rosie. We hope she has the best day filled with all of the corn nuggets that she can cook and master.
And goes upstairs. And she did a house with an upstairs.
She has been blessed. She does have an upstairs for that one. Yeah, the calls are calling. Happy birthday to the potty mouth of Team Chaos. Yes, absolutely. We'll pass it on, Sean. Don't you worry. Thank you for joining us. And of course, we welcomed Emily. Chloe, how are you doing apart from ill?
Yeah, doing okay. Yeah, just suffering. Yeah,
suffering in silence, but we'll do it together. And Paul, you've got the best hashtag so far, I think.
Thank
you. How are you doing?
I am, as people in Munich would say, ausgezeichnet at the moment. I am excellent. I'm a lot better fluent in German, so I can sing the Bayern fight song at some point if necessary.
Wonderful.
I need to look up the words and double check, but I can.
To be fair, even if you got them wrong, Paul, I don't think the three of us would know.
I mean, my German team are Cologne because I've lived there for a year, so I can sing Viva Colonia, but I don't know about the Munich song. But
we're all up for an anthem on the pod. We can, we can slip one in.
All you need to know is "Auf geht's Bayern Schieß Tor" is the German chant, and it literally means "Come on, Bayern, score a goal." And they scored 5 of them, and it's really, really funny. So.
They did. Right, okay, so let's do it. So the Champions League groups have kicked off last night and this evening. So we'll do a quick recap of last night's results, and then we'll go into what Paul's absolutely buzzing about. Yeah. So last night, Olympic Lyonnais won convincingly 3-0 over Turkish Galatasaray. Roma surprisingly held their own with a very scrappy 1-0 win against Wolfsburg. Which is fantastic considering if anyone's been watching Serie A, they haven't had a great start to their season. Dutch side FC Twente won 2-0 thanks to a Van Duren brace at Celtic. And finally, Chelsea managed to haul Real Madrid off just with a 3-2 win at Stamford Bridge. Chloe, I'm going to come to you for that one. What did you make of the match last night? Because a couple of people have come out and said it wasn't great, to be honest.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, it wasn't great, to be honest, but a win's a win. Could have done better, but there'll be other matches that we can do better in. Yeah, got 3 points.
Yeah, and I suppose the good thing about Chelsea is that they usually do manage to scrape that win, don't they? No matter what, no matter how ugly it is, they get it. Because Emily, we were talking earlier as well, weren't we, about Lucy Bronze and Sonia Stoll
Mhm.
about not being good enough. So what kind of influence do you think that's going to have on the next week on the team?
Well, she basically called them all out, didn't she? And said, "This is what we might have won, but it was nowhere near good enough." I don't know. I suppose if you're a player in that squad and you've got Lucy Bronze saying that, you're like, "Well, out of my game," because she's been there and done it. So
Exactly. Yeah. And she's definitely not one to be like, oh, well, you know, we tried. She's going to be like, no. We need to step up. We need to go as far in this competition as we can.
have you got a match on?
Kata looks fuming as City just scored.
Mm-hmm.
No? Yes?
I think so.
Oh, please. If City have scored. Sorry.
Oh, let's have a look. Yeah, so Man City, Barcelona are on at the moment. Let's have a look at the replay. Viv, Liz off to Jess Park.
Yes, they have.
Liz L. Yeah.
Viv
Oh,
Miedema.
Of course it is her.
You know, that's even funnier.
Oh, that's incredible.
Arsenal have thumped Bayern and Miedema scoring for Man City against Barca. That's lovely.
Yeah, because I was surprised Liz L was starting, to be honest, in that back line. But
Didn't mean to know you used to play for Brighton. I might have just completely wrong.
She is what? Sorry, Chloe.
I think, didn't she used to play for Bayern, Miedema?
Yes.
Miedema, yeah. Yeah.
Now that's even funnier.
No. Yeah, so that's come up as a Liz L goal. But Emma's just really happy Miedema's on the pitch. For that one.
Naomi Lazell going for Bristol City to playing for City.
Bristol City to Champions League and scoring against Barcelona. I mean, that's a flex in itself, isn't it? That's fantastic. Yeah. But yeah, Sean's just followed us in. Doesn't matter what football's like. The only thing which matters is the results. True, which will lead us on to tonight's results, which weren't great. So at the moment, we've got Norwegian side Vålerenga hosting Juventus, and Man City, as we've just said, are currently 1-0 up against Barcelona. Now, earlier this evening, Hammarby won 2-0 against St. Paulton at home, and Arsenal travelled away to Bayern Munich and got beaten. Paul?
5-2. Sorry. This isn't helping.
Harder hat trick all in the space of 15 minutes.
This isn't helping my anti-Arsenal agenda accusations, is it?
I don't know what you mean. Oh, I've lost the back of my earring. Oh, no. Right. No, he just tapped it and it just falls. Oh.
At least you're not like Arsenal and lost their back line. So
hey. I know. So, Paul, if anyone missed it, kind of what happened with Arsenal? Because there's been a few choice pieces come out this week, haven't there? That kind of maybe shed some insight into what's going on.
Sorry, I'm just stretching. You know,
just getting ready. We're starting early. Tonight.
What time is it? It is 8:40. So if nobody's doing anything to about 10 o'clock, settle in.
Sit back, relax.
No. Basically, Arsenal are a mess, and it's brilliant. Like, because they are. We've criticised Man United. Boy, have we criticised Man United. And Arsenal are doing the same thing. Like, just this season, there is so much negativity coming out of the club. There are Viv Miedema, and let's face it, Viv Miedema doesn't hold back, and we love her for it. She is a very open,
very honest,
talking person, very, very honest indeed. But the interview that she made last week, I think it was. I think
so, yeah.
Yes, it was, because it was before Arsenal versus Man City, where she literally stuck like a proper razor-bladed stiletto into the back of Arsenal. It was a proper vicious, by Viv Miedema standards, interview. Very measured, but like,
very good. Yeah.
Whereas some interviews, you know, Mary Earps has done an interview this week about Man United where she basically set about them with a baseball bat and did the whole, oh, there was this problem and this problem and this problem. Viv Miedemar was just one line, like one deadly line of, it was something along the lines of, I spent 7 years at Arsenal and I loved my time there and I have great respect for everybody there. It would be nice to feel that respect was returned or something like that. And that's just, that's your Dutch. Viv Miedemar does not give a fuck. Sorry, I know it's not 9 o'clock yet, but that's
3 minutes till the watershed. Don't swear.
that's the level of it. But after that, this week,
That made me laugh.
you had Chloe Lacasse come out and talk about basically, it's nice to enjoy my football again. I am a player who needs freedom. I am a player who loves to be creative. And I never got that at Arsenal.
Yeah.
And it was one of those, and that's fine. That's the way it was tactic shaming. It was like, that's fine. That's the way they want to play,
But it's not for me. Thank you very much.
But, and then just all the stuff coming out is just.
Because then Ian Wright as well, didn't he? On his podcast.
Well, his tweet of what did we buy Kafaji for at the weekend was,
Yeah.
But I think he's coming from a different place to Lacasse because he is obviously Arsenal born, bred through and through.
Yeah.
And I think he's just annoyed with the state of Arsenal women. I think he's now more moving into a position. The first few years he was, Arsenal's biggest cheerleader and women's football biggest. I think, and something that I give him great credit for, he's realised that as the game grows, it needs a different type of coverage.
Yes.
And as someone with a very prominent voice, he's the kind of person who can say things like, what the hell did we buy Rosa Kafaji for if we're not using it?
Yeah.
And be critical. But if you're in the club and you've got Ian Wright criticising you, you're going to look at that and go,
yes,
ooh, panic. It's the same. If Emma Hayes were to come out and criticise Sonia Bompasta, the weight that would carry, and Ian Wright doing that for Arsenal is a similar type of thing.
Exactly, because even tonight when Kafaji came on, such a difference. And it's like, it's no use bringing her on in the 80th minute when you're 4-2 down. Like, you need her on, you need that from the start. And as we're seeing in this City-Barca game, they've both started with such intensity, it could literally go either way. But when you're taking your time and it's really slow and it's really stoppy-starty and there's no flow, there's no creativity, then it makes it harder and then you capitulate and then it all kind of blows up, doesn't it? And you're never going to get far in Champions League or the league in general if you don't have a bit something extra, a bit something special. Because Ian Wright did say they're playing like a mid-table club. I
mean, you've had people like Tim Stillman who can't recognise players on the pitch, but what he can do, he's another respected voice, and he is generally considered an Arsenal cheerleader. For Arsenal women, he is almost obnoxiously an Arsenal homer, and he described the Leicester game as painful to watch, and he was describing the Everton game as Arsenal are ponderous, Arsenal are slow, Arsenal are and we'll get onto it. I think the best bit probably is to just rip Arsenal in one big go, and we'll go right. We'll talk about the two games together, but the short version of it is Arsenal are mortal. Arsenal are a team who think they're a top tier team and they're not. And they are being found out. And it is.
Yeah, you can take points. Yeah. And the fact, we'll talk about it, but Everton, what a performance from Everton to take those points. But But yes, we will get onto it. So the last thing I wanted to say then was just going to check in on the other score. Juventus are 1-0 up against Vålerenga. Cantore scored in the 29th minute for that one. Although Vålerenga have had 8 shots, they've had more than Juventus. So we'll keep a close eye on that one. And we'll keep a close eye on the Man City Barca game as well, which is currently in 2 minutes of extra time in the first half. So, yeah, if we suddenly shout or react, that's why, because we've got this game on as well. And the last thing I wanted to say was... Oh, no, I've got 2 more things. So sad thing first. It was confirmed that Sophie Lundgaard, unfortunately, has been the latest victim to those dreaded 3 letters, which means there's been an ACL in every single match day so far this season. We know more needs to be done, but it needs to be sooner rather than later, doesn't it? Because wasn't it Lee Williamson last season that was like, if things aren't sorted, there's going to be no more players left to play. So do we think I don't know, has anyone got any thoughts? Are we near anything happening to stop this happening? Or, I mean, 1 in every match day is mad. Is that congestion or is it something else? What do we think? Has anyone got any thought?
I'm just saying I've talked loads, so I'm letting the other 2 go.
Yeah, I think congestion definitely plays into it, the load on the body, and then obviously with it's a menstrual cycle, and hips and all that affects. I think we still need to do more research and loads more to go into it. I think we're way off this. Maybe not becoming quite an issue. I know there's been a fair few ACLs in the men's game. And again, that's sort of loads of fixtures as well, fixture congestion. So
yeah, because I can't. Oh, who just came out recently? One of the men's players, was it a City?
Rodri.
It was Rodri, wasn't it?
About strikes.
Yeah, and when he's coming out of his status as well and his standing, we need more people like that to come out and be like, something needs to be done.
But the problem,
because it's not just the women's, is it? Yeah,
I think the problem that we have, like Chloe, you were saying, there's a lot more in the men's game. There were 10 in the Premier League last season. 10 ACL injuries.
Yeah.
And when you consider that the men will play an extra, a third more games a season. And we are on pace to easily make 10 ACL injuries in WSL this season with half the amount of games. And whatever people say about fixture congestion, the load is less on women. There are less games, the numbers are less. And there is, rightly and thankfully, far more focus now being placed already on protecting female players, as we've seen with the events of the past week. So if all of that is being placed and we're still running an ACL a week, something is messed up.
Yeah.
Something is broken. Whether it be in the club medical provisions, whether it be in the equipment, whether it be in the pitches even,
Yeah, kind of all these contributing factors, yeah.
But something needs fixing, because we've now reached the point, we've done it in the group chat and everyone does it whenever you read, a player's gone down, you go, that's an ACL then.
Yeah, you automatically think it.
Your instant response is ACL, and then it's actually a relief when it's, oh no, it's a head injury or it's an ankle injury or something. You go,
thank God it's just concussion. Yeah, you didn't think you'd ever.
Thank God it's just a hamstring strain and they'll be back in a couple of weeks. That kind of thing.
Yeah,
which is messed up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a normal way of thinking.
No, and it's so yeah. So if anyone's listening that has any research or is currently doing any research on ACLs, then let us know what we can do to support it, because it needs changing. Or else, we're a lot going on at the minute about player welfare, and obviously this is number one, isn't it? Making sure the rest, recovery, everything is going well. So this can stop happening, or at least minimize the chances of it happening. Now, I do have one more happy thing that I'd like to say, which is why this shirt was behind me this evening. Because guess who got that first goal for Lazio? If you've watched the pod for a while, you will know Martina Piemonte is one of my favourite players. And she signed for Lazio from Everton in the summer, and it's only a couple of games in. I know it's a new league, new club, but she's had a lot of chances, but again, just hasn't been able to find the back of the net. And throughout this match, she just there was headers, there was a penalty that was saved. It just wasn't going in for her. And I was tweeting through the match and I was like, what is it going to take for this goal to go in? And in the 86th minute, it was 2-2 between them and Sassuolo. And she just goes, right, it's going in. I'm doing it. And she literally fought off 3 defenders, right? She held them off. The physicality is incredible. And just got it in the bottom right corner. And it was like, yes, finally. And everyone came round her and just, it was fantastic. And when you just think, it's in, it's settled, the first goals there. It's been a long time coming. She was given MVP of the match. She made it into the Serie A team of the week. And you just think, okay, her league has started. She has arrived in Serie A. And yeah, couldn't be happy for her. So just wanted to round off that with a bit of happiness there.
Can I mention a thing actually very, very swiftly?
Yeah.
Lower leagues. There has been some decisions made recently because there were some issues with fixtures not being fulfilled in the WNL with teams having various issues. Solihull, Moors, there's a sad situation there where basically the players and the coaching staff have turned around and said no more.
Awful situation.
Now depending on who you ask, that's either the Solihull Moors Community Foundation rather than the men's team themselves, or it is the club as a whole. But the fact that Solihull were chosen to host England squad announcements and training camps and all sorts of things as a grassroots club doing it the right way within the past year or so, and they've gone downhill in such a mess. Basically, short version, Emily, is that Solihull Moors women have died as a club.
I was going to say, can we tweak that
as a club?
Yeah. So this is the statement from the club. So it was Solihull Moors Foundation can confirm they've accepted the resignation of the manager and coaching staff for the women's first team. Spoken to our players, and they are aware of the help the foundation will give them and the continued support of the entire club. Unfortunately, the departure at short notice of the management team means that this weekend's first team game against Loughborough has been cancelled. We will now work hard to recruit and put in place a management structure and coaching team that allows the team to move forward in a positive environment. So that was on the 4th. So that was 5 days ago. But yeah, essentially it sounds like it's been very rocky for a while, hasn't it? And they weren't doing things like, they weren't booking the pitches to actually have the games and to have the space available. And the training facilities, they couldn't, just so many things.
But they are an example. There are several clubs, Southampton women, not Premier, not the team affiliated with Premier League Southampton. The other one, who some would consider are the original and actual Southampton women, because I hope I get this right. Correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, there was the original Southampton women who were the ones in 1971 who won the FA Cup and all that sort of stuff, who were an independent club, and they were the only Southampton women until Southampton Sirens came along. But then you had Southampton men's team decide they wanted a women's team, threw money at it. They came up through the leagues and took the name of Southampton Women. So the other Southampton are now Southampton Sirens or similar. Anyway, they were unable to fulfill a fixture. There were a couple of others. A bunch of the academy teams for WSL were unable to fulfill fixtures in the WNL Cup, much like the men's EFL Trophy has Premier League academy teams in it. And I'm not saying there's a conspiracy, but the way all the fines, Arsenal weren't fined for pulling their team out of the trophy, pulling their team out of the cup after previously agreeing to enter it and then deciding actually we don't want our under 21s to play against adults because we might lose.
Will they not know?
So
Bit dodgy that now.
sort yourselves out, FA. If, you know, just because they're the postal club. But yeah, Solihull. Hopefully everything gets sorted out. But it's just it's one of those things where you know, as a pod, you always say we love saying focusing on everything rather than all the positive stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We want to kind of spread that awareness of the reality of women's football, not just the good stuff, but actually what's going on, especially in those lower leagues. And that still needs to catch up and still need to get sorted out. Absolutely. Right. Now, I think that is all of my latest news. So let's get on to some match reports, shall we? So we're going to start off with, because let's have a little look. Dun, 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 dun. Hey. So let's go for Chloe. We're going to start with you. Man City 2, West Ham 0. Now, I was surprised there was only 2 goals in this match. So yeah, Chloe, tell us what you thought of this one.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it was only 2, considering West Ham are seriously struggling at the moment. But I think they put a good account of themselves. They're not going to go down without a fight, really. And of course, they could have almost taken the lead with a save, sort of scoring, but should have offside. Yeah, but I think they gave too much space to City, and that's how they sort of got those chances with obviously Lauren Hemp scoring the 10th minute and Mary Fowler in the 90th. So yeah,
there's a lot of time between those goals, wasn't there?
Yeah, they could have scored more.
I'll show you. Do you reckon it would have changed the feel of the game if Versailles' goal had stood?
Yeah, I think it would. I think that would have sort of pushed West Ham on, possibly. But
yeah.
So
they're a team, aren't they? That just kind of they've got the players. They just need that break, don't they? They just need that breakthrough to get some momentum and keep going. Because Ryan Skinner came out and said, look, as we've all heard and as we all know, matches, are decided by goals. So as soon as one's not allowed, funnily enough, matches are won by goals. So it would have been a completely different match, wouldn't it? Now we've had Mr. Arsenal podcast get the worst out the way. Nah, we'll work up to it. You don't want that to get over too soon.
we haven't seen him in the chat before. Oh, you haven't. If you haven't seen me before, all I'm saying, stay tuned.
Yeah, Mr. Arsenal podcast, get ready for Paul's rants.
If you want Arsenal to be ripped to shreds, if you want them to be held to account, just hang around.
I thought matches were won through red cards. Don't get us started on red cards. Because we're going to come to, Emily, we're going to come to you next. Brighton 4, Villa 2. And there were 2 red cards in this one, and we were absolutely fuming. Now, we all set off very early on Saturday, didn't we? For this and to be fair, it was pretty even, wasn't it, until about 2-2. Then all hell broke loose. So, Emily, talk us through this one. What happened?
Yeah, I think Brighton did play well, but I think Villa were helped them play well. See what I mean? Villa weren't didn't play as well as they could have done. I think Brighton, both of their goals came from sort of mistakes from Villa. One straight from kickoff, so Villa took the lead early, and then literally straight from kickoff, Brighton equalised. And you just think, you can't be doing that. Wake up.
And
30
then seconds of excitement, just like, yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It was just inevitable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I did think Nikita Paris played well for Brighton. She was, from watching it in person, she was like, looked like she was controlling that forward area. And then Brighton obviously went ahead. Yes.
Yeah.
And then Daly got the equalising penalty. And like you say, I think it was an even match. I don't think it was a 4-2 match.
No.
If you look at it from the majority of it, and then as you say, Paulo Tomas gets pulled up for a foul, straight red card. Frank Kirby's never going to miss, and it's a different game from then on. And then Michelle Ajmarang sealed the deal, made it 4-2.
Honestly, when they converted that pen and you thought, okay, 3-2, we can maybe get something back here. And then Fran went off, didn't she? And then Adjuman came on. You were just like, oh, come on.
Well, because even after we'd gone down to 10 and it was 3-2, Villa still did have chances. It's the story of the season so far. We just couldn't convert them.
Couldn't find the back of the net. And as well, we had the decision today, didn't we, that they appealed Tomas's red card because initially because it was only one angle we had at the time, wasn't it? And we were like, that's not a red. But then another angle came out. And what was the second?
Actually only posted by Brighton, yeah. I think Villa conveniently didn't post that. But I think after I'd seen that second angle, I can see why it was given. I still think it was one of those that you can see not given. But I hold my hand up and say, I can see why that was given.
Yeah, I mean, personally unbiased completely. Yellow and a pen, that would have been fine. But so it is a 3-match ban for Paulo Tomas now. And it's the fact that, like we were saying, weren't we, in the women's game, because there are less games, a 3-match ban has so many further implications. And it's just, it's not fair. But I don't know, do you think we need a rule change so that it's not a 3-match? Or I don't know. What do you think?
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because it's proportionally, it's almost double the percentage of the season that they miss compared to the men's. But I suppose you've got to look at it from the other side and say, well, it's being given for violent conduct. So the conduct isn't less violent because it's taking place in a season that's shorter. See what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe the punishment shouldn't be. I mean, it's tricky because the punishment for, if you do the same thing, the punishment should be the same, whether it's the men's game or the women's game. Yeah. But the consequences it has are different because the season's a different length.
No, and she's going to be such a miss as well, isn't she? So reminder to everyone, if you've got Tomas in your fantasy teams, switch her out, because I need to do that as well, and I've just thought about it.
Speaking of fantasy teams, we didn't mention them during Man City, but Gareth Taylor, you will pay. Gareth Taylor is a fantasy team assassin, and he's
Punisher on the bench.
Because he put both Miedema and Shaw on the bench in the week when a lot of people, including me, triple captain Shaw as well. So,
I only single captained her, but she got the assist. So as soon as she came on, I was like, please contribute, please do something. Because I had a Tomas with a red card. I'd had a Brooke Aspen with a red card like 2 weeks before, and I was like, when am I going to get a break here? When I'm going to have to be very. I
mean, it's not as bad as Danny, who is not on tonight. But didn't Danny have 2/3 of his back line sent off? Because he had Tomas. He had Tomas, and he had wasn't Aspen who got sent off this week? Who was it? Who else was it got sent off?
Poppy Pattinson got a second yellow in the Brighton game.
Oh yeah, he had Pattinson and Tomas. Yeah. So he just...
that was the referee didn't even realise that was their second yellow either.
No, Yeah.
to be reminded that was.
We all had to shout at the ref and be like, "It's a red. She's already got a yellow." And then he went, "Oh yeah," and just gave it. Honestly, it was annoying.
We did walk away from that match just absolutely fuming.
Because we said, like, we walked away from Chelsea, even though we lost 1-0, being like, "This is the start of a new Villa. This is
We
fantastic."
hyped ourselves up a little bit, didn't we?
So buzzing, like, "Yep, this is it. This is our year. We're gonna get better." And then walked away from Brighton, going, "Oh." Just back where we've always been.
But yeah, as my new role as Gen Z and Gen Alpha ambassador of the pod, I will say, Gareth Taylor, the streets will not forget.
The streets will not forget. I love it.
Yeah, hi Emily. I'm a 40-year-old who thinks he's 20. So yeah.
And he's very good. He translates for us to Rosie when she's on.
That was Rosie's reaction. We just need a compilation of all her reactions.
I know. She's like, "Oh no." To do that. And Graham is absolutely right. If you don't walk away from match fuming, did you even go? No, not even slightly. Bonus points for getting absolutely soaked wet through as well and being miserable. That's a proper day out in football, isn't it, with that one? Just a little update, Man City Barcelona has kicked off again, and we're currently on the 48th minute, so we will keep you up to date with that one. Emma is absolutely buzzing that she's higher than me in the league. It's not hard. I've had that many red cards. I have not been doing well, but I'm just getting started. Give us a few weeks. I'll get higher than 20 at some point. Right then, so we've done that one. We'll come on to... we'll do me next, actually. So I had this one probably. I was going to say a surprise of the season, but actually watching it, it was thoroughly deserved. You can tell the delirium's kicking in from this cold, can't you? No idea what I'm saying. So this was Leicester 0, Crystal Palace 2. I was absolutely buzzing with this result. I don't know if anyone else watched it, but we all said, didn't we, when Palace came up, that had a real shot of staying in the WSL. There was just something about them. There was that fight. There was that grit. They'd signed well, and we just thought, yeah, okay, they're gonna do well. Obviously, the first couple of games, they had Chelsea. They had, so it wasn't really a fair test. The first couple, but we knew one to watch was Annabelle Blanchard, who did not disappoint. Scored a brace, so she got both goals, including a penalty, to secure their first win of the campaign. Now, for their confidence, that must have been absolutely cracking. Her first strike was beautiful. There's a little backheel flick from Kate Stengel, and Blanchard just put it convincingly into the back of the net. Leicester looked a bit lost, to be honest. And pod favourite Jutta Rantanen had so many chances, but just couldn't find the back of the net. The team weren't really there to help her, really. Ruby Mace, unfortunately, didn't have the best game. A few silly mistakes here and there, and then gave away the penalty for the second goal. It was a late challenge in the box. It was quite late. It was quite a bit naughty, really. But I have to say, Leitzig was kept on her toes throughout and made some cracking saves. Stats-wise, Leicester had 7 shots, 2 on target, compared to Palace's 11 shots, 6 on target. So Palace with the higher chance percentage there. But overall, possession, pass accuracy, etc., were all pretty equal. So bit worrying for Leicester, because I think maybe they didn't expect Palace to come out and attack and dominate as much as they did. But yeah, it's definitely a warning that you can't take Crystal Palace for granted. But yeah, I really enjoyed that one. So that was 2-0 to Crystal Palace. But yeah, really enjoyed it. You had one job, Leicester. Just lost her. Well done, Graham. Well done. Well done for that one.
The Sky Blues fans in the pod will be nicking that. Me and Simon will be nicking that now.
Yeah. No, I love it. Right. See, we keep building. Emily, we're going to come back to you because we're building up for Paul at the end. Now, Spurs, Liverpool. This one, we all kind of were saying, it'll be tight, this one. We didn't quite know which way it was going to fall on. But I don't know if Spurs could feel a bit hard done by with with this one. So yeah, Emily, talk us through it. So it was 3-2 to Liverpool in the end.
I mean, I thought that Liverpool looked better than I thought they would, and Spurs looked worse than I thought they would. I thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought Spurs were going to edge it. I mean, probably a draw would have been a fair result. But Liverpool were sort of the authors of their own downfall. They had the lead twice and got 2 own goals to let Spurs get back into it. I mean, both sides had a lot of chances. Olivia Smith played really well, I think, for Liverpool. You can tell she's still a young player that's just going for it when maybe she should take a moment and assess the options. But
yeah,
I think she's got a really bright future ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
And then it ended up being the penalty call in extra time that decided it, which again was a pretty soft penalty call in my opinion.
Was that the Ash Neville?
Ash Neville, yeah. I'm not even sure how, but
I don't know what she did, to be honest. Because they put the replay on, didn't they? And I remember being like, she just was there.
She
it wasn't really
Sophie Roman-Haug, and she just ended up on the floor. And you're like, ref's given a penalty, don't know how. But Marie Hobinger had already scored that free kick, which was amazing. I think that's probably one of the goals of the week.
That was good.
Top bins over the wall. And then she steps up and scores the penalty in extra time. So, yeah. I think she did get nominated for some sort of team of the week thing I saw earlier.
And she should, because Hobinger, I asked Matt Beard about her and, you know, how crucial she is to the team, and he sung her praises for how creative she is and what she brings. And yeah, she's, again, another underrated player for
there were some, aside from the Becky Spencer error, which led to the first goal where she cleared it and it got intercepted, and it was a nice chipped finish over. But apart from that, her and Rachel Laws both did make some really good saves in that match, I think. Which you had Laws as your keeper, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And it was, I was more fuming with Laws the week before when West Ham equalised, because I checked my points and she had 6 for a clean sheet, and I was like, oh, this is cracking, yeah. And then I refreshed it and I was like, oh dear, they've equalised. But what I should have done is have Courtney bloody Brosnan in goal, because I've got her. She's my second goalie. So yeah, I can't believe with that one. And yeah, Emily said in the chat as well. Capok's got a first goal for the team as well. So yeah, I think Liverpool, again, they didn't really sign many, did they? But they're, again, quietly going about their business with what they're doing.
They went into it on 2 draws. So now they're still unbeaten. I mean, everyone was, after their finish last year, expecting good things from them, but I think they're just quietly going along, building.
Yeah, absolutely. And just keep focusing on what they're doing with that one. I thought something exciting was happening, but they're just waiting to take a free kick between. Has anyone noticed the clash of colours in the Barca kit as well? Because they're having to wear their pink shorts.
I don't know why they just didn't wear the whole away kit.
I know. Why are they mixing the? I have no idea.
It's got the different socks.
Is there a city mega store for them to change?
Arsenal, you're never living that down.
Is it Man City's away kit shorts?
Just mix and match. We'll have this colour.
Pack a bag.
See, Sean's got the right idea. Just wear bibs.
Oh God, no.
Take it right back to school and just.
Those things were really heavy. I don't know if it was the bits I had, but they were proper. It was like wearing a proper flannel. I mean, if you had to wear bibs outside on a wet day, you were basically 2 or 3 miles an hour slower because you were carrying around a suit of armour. It was amazing.
Yeah,
Well, we
you
must
must
have
be
had
wearing.
rubbish ones then, because we had the ones that like all the things are broken on the side, so you're just like
Oh, they just
flapping,
flap
'cause you
behind you.
can't- Yeah,
Yeah,
It was
you
even
must
more
be wearing.
embarrassing when they had numbers on them.
You must be wearing like netball style boobs.
yeah.
Ugh.
There were more netball-y ones because that's all we had. All girls' school. We didn't really have a chance to play football. What are you talking about?
We actually had to wear the netball bibs
Did you?
as lads playing football. So they're all running around with like goal attack and whatever else on
Wing defense.
wind defense. And just like
Brilliant.
autistic me was trying to play in the position they actually said. Like if you gave me wind defense, I'd automatically play fullback. Like
I mean,
just
Yeah, it's like, this is me now. Okay.
yeah,
This is
okay,
all
with them flapping over my head in the wind of a Midlands,
I can't
running,
say.
I was
running
going to say,
into
do we need a
goalposts.
therapy session about secondary school PE?
Have you ever seen the film Kes?
It's what?
Have you ever seen the film Kes?
No.
No.
I love the fact that Gary sat here and I've referenced the film Kes, which is a fairly well-known film, the scenes, and I've just got my loving partner just go, how fucking old are you?
Have you ever seen that chat?
I'll be Bobby
Kestrel uphill.
I'll be Bobby Charlton. No. There's maybe there's some of the older folk in the chat. Graham might get it. Sorry, Graham. I'm not saying you're actually old, but you just
Graham,
strike
get him. Go on.
you strike me as someone who might have seen Kes. And like,
The film was from 1969. I just looked it up.
it's a classic film. It's one of the most classic football scenes in film. Kes is.
Go on then, explain it for those.
Right. Okay, so Kes the film is the adaptation
Watched it in
of.
school.
See, yes, it's an adaptation of a book called A Kestrel for a Knave, which I had to read in school as well. It was written for 11-year-olds, and it was written in like in the mid 60s, and it was written.
in school, and then I bought it with his contributed fellow pen.
Graham goes,
Can you hear this? I'm getting absolutely annihilated here. He had to
Sean,
read about it in school.
school.
He had to read about it in school and write about it with his feather quill.
When I was at school, it was like Mice and Men.
See, yeah, but yeah, Kes is basically the adaptation of the novel Kestrel for a Knave, which is a pretty famous young adult novel about a kid growing up in, I think, Barnsley, certainly one of those northern crapholes. That were
How specific.
well, it was filmed, and the accent is proper Yorkshire. Like they'll speak like this, and they'll speak like this. So when they play football, they're like, "Oh, you're going to be today, so I'm being Bobby Charlton." It's that level of Yorkshire.
Wow. Okay.
Where
Yeah.
Finger is from. I think she's
Oh,
from
no,
Barnsley.
Yorkshire at once.
And I apologise to Yorkshire or Lancashire because that might have been a Lancashire accent at one point. But yeah, that bit was basically there's a scene in it where the main character, who is not sporting at all, is forced to do one of those nightmare PE lessons,
Mm.
and he can't play football to save his life. And the PE teacher is a proper like old school boys PE teacher. And I'd imagine there's a female equivalent of like the teacher who you're convinced threw shot put for the county or something and was absolutely.
I'm just thinking of Miss Trunchbull, but yeah.
Yeah. Like that thing, but the male equivalent, someone who basically has no life except for taking out on kids, and will run around playing football with kids, acting like he's really good at it when he's actually crap. But just
Against kids.
and there's just a scene in it in a really muddy field, and it's an iconic football scene. And if you haven't watched it, go and hunt it out, or I'll get Sam to post a link to it on the Absolute Football stuff.
That's what we'll be doing now.
Apparently that's what we're doing.
In fact, that's everyone's homework for next week. Go and watch kids.
Don't go and watch all the Kes because it's really sad and depressing, and the book made me cry. But go and
Don't.
because
Not your homework.
because it's lovely, and he tames a falcon, and then his brother kills it because his brother's an arsehole. So it's all very depressing. But
Oh, wow. Okay. That left
There you
football very quickly.
but there you go. You see, award-nominated podcast talking about not obscure films and books at school. See, in the chat, they're all talking about the books they read. See,
See, we're just really cultured
we're
here
just
at
sparking
the award nominated.
conversations.
That's what football show. Good shout from Sean. Next podcast, me, but everyone has to wear bibs. Yeah, it's how we'll know each other and how we'll recognise each other.
Are we going to do a Halloween dress-up as well?
Ooh.
Because Halloween
Yeah, why
podcast.
not?
I mean, with this face, I don't need to wear a mask, but kind of.
It is such a beautiful mask.
But anyway, yes, no Graham. It's not film club.
My favourite services. Oh yeah, favourite services film night. That needs to happen. Right, we were talking about something, Paul. What are we talking? Why are we talking about Kez?
Because we were talking about.
We were talking about
Spurs, Leicester.
bibs, but I don't know how we got
Bibs,
on.
bibs, yes,
Bibs.
wearing bibs, and then we went into PE
Why were we
lessons.
talking about bibs?
Oh, the kick clash. Yeah.
Kick
Oh,
clash,
yeah.
Kick clash.
Awesome.
There we go. Perfect.
And we're back. There we go. Back in the room.
Went all the way around the houses, and one more loop just for good measure. So there was a kick
I haven't
clash.
even bantered about Arsenal yet.
We
Let's
have
get
coming.
right
Graham said, "Chaos is chaosing well tonight." Of course we are. Of course we are. That's all we do. It's all we do, Graham.
Award-nominated Chaos, Graham.
Award nominated chaos, yes. Which, yeah, if you haven't voted for us yet, please make sure you do so. Because imagine this chaos getting an award, being rewarded for it. That'd be great.
More
for
players
this
on
one.
stage.
Now we've come to the moment. Put me out of my misery. Paul, are
Right.
you ready? Now, I'm just going to... Oh, Claudia Pina's just come on for Barcelona. Now, I think the most remarkable match on here is Arsenal 0, Everton 0. Now, the amazing stat that was said, it was the first point away for Everton since 2009. It's been 15 years since they've got a point not at home to Arsenal. They haven't got a point since 2009, which just kind of sums up what a moment it was. So, Paul, take us through it. Why and how was it 0-0 when you expect Arsenal at the Emirates to kind of show us what they're made of, really? Yeah.
Well,
talk us
first of
through it.
all, we'll start by doing the exact opposite of what the vast majority of the media did and praise Everton and acknowledge the job that Brian Sorensen did, because what a man that is, Brian.
What a
Sorensen
man our
is.
Bri is.
Like
Absolutely.
just the pride of Denmark. Like he's,
Yep.
the amount of stuff he's had to deal with injuries. He's had 2 ACLs in 2 weeks.
Yep.
He's settled through and dealt with everything else. He plays in a flipping public park. Whatever they say about Walton Hall Park, he basically plays in a team that plays park football.
Yep.
And still makes them look cultured. And he's created the Danish Revolution, and he liked my tweet about penalties. So friends in high places. Had to get that.
Yeah.
Me and Brian like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, in all seriousness,
of the month nominated really instead of Mark Skinner, but that's a different kettle of fish for manager of the month.
sorry, I'm just 55 minutes. There you go.
Yeah.
55 minutes for Mark Skinner reference.
Better.
We're getting better.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
They didn't play this week. That's what it is. But
No.
yeah, he's just we talk about how he's a nice man and how he comes in and how Chloe wants to just give him a hug. Everton Chloe wants to just give him a hug every time he sees him. I mean, I would as well.
I would.
You just want to pat him on the head and tell him everything's okay. Sometimes
We've got you, Brian. It's okay.
we've got you, Brian. All right, mate, calm down. Where's the Jonas bashing? Calm down. It's
We're
coming.
getting there. Don't worry.
Coming.
We're getting there.
It's this is a literary device. We're contrasting. You see, I'm talking
I'm
about
trying to
Brian.
set it up.
I'm setting it up.
Mm.
So yeah, Brian Sorensen, amazing, the work he's done. You know, he effectively said, nobody expects us to get anything. We've got nothing to lose. And then he turned his team into flipping Spartans at Thermopylae. Just 11, a blue wall just stopping them. all
What
the
a
way through.
reference, by the way. Thank you for
There
that.
you go. That was for the archaeologist in you. That was. There you go.
Thank
Ancient
you.
history.
Thank you very much.
And then, of course, it was even more glaring, the amazing work that Brian Sorensen has done when you look across at the other bench. Now, a little science fact for you. It has been worked out that in the universe, there are roughly 700 million observable particles that we can look at and quantify and observe. None of them contains Jonas Eidevall's tactical plan for Arsenal. The man is simply a hole in the air at this point. He's stood there on the bench trying to come up with tactics. He's got one of the most talented rosters in women's football, and he does that with it. Like the man is a turnip. Like honestly, you could. It's like you could. There was that thing where there's that thing where you could put a lettuce in charge of the country and it did better than Liz Truss. You could put a lettuce in charge of Arsenal and it would last longer. See the thing, Mr. Just put a lettuce up and we'll see if a lettuce lasts longer than Jonas Eidevall. Like,
it's not a turnip, he's a Swede.
Hey, well done.
I mean, brilliantly, his quotes have come out for the defeat to Bayern Munich.
Have they?
Yes.
Oh, go on then.
I'm prepared, and I've saw these. So, and brilliantly, one of the big Arsenal blogs, Arseblog, which is not a blog about Mark Skinner, but is about Arsenal. See, there you go, Graham. There's the Mark Skinner reference. He said the first question was on why things disintegrated in the final third of the game.
Okay.
And he said, we started the first half really well because we controlled possession and we controlled them with their pressing. We have a period of 5 minutes where we become a little bit passive and conceded a goal. But maybe we were a bit unlucky to be tied 1-1. Bloody hell, mate. If you think you're unlucky to be tied 1-1, you're outshot. Anyway.
5-2, yeah.
Second half, I think by an up their intensity, they were threatening with runs in behind and asking more difficult questions for us. Yeah, and you have bugger all answers, son. We got a bit stretched, a bit tired, and a bit hesitant as a team, pressing, which means they play through us more often. I'm assuming this is a direct transcript, by the way, so if some of it sounds a bit not edited, it's presumably just a direct transcript of what Jonas said.
Yeah.
What really struck me in the second half is how we defended crosses. That's not good enough. We conceded goals. When it is 4-2, it is a decision to want to sit back and control the result. What do you mean control the result, you pleb?
What's you down?
You're 4-2 down. Like, what result are you controlling then? Are you admitting that you're going to get tanked or what? But anyway, he says, I decided to go for it. I know, of course, that is a risk and it exposes us to concede again, but I'm happy and willing to take that risk because that was the only thing to have gotten us a point. Mate, you lost 5-2. You didn't get a point.
Does he think he got a point? Is that the worrying thing?
I don't know. But whatever world he's living, I want to live in it because, you know.
It seems quite nice, to be
It's
honest.
like Homer Simpson with a monkey, just plain simple.
Yeah. It's like imagine a world without lawyers. You just imagine a world, Jonas Eidevall's world, just everyone dancing around a rainbow in Arsenal kits.
Doesn't matter the results, we get points. Yeah.
But the best bit, he was then asked, is his message getting through to the players? I mean, firstly, there'd have to be a message, which I think many people would dispute. But He says, we're off with our timing and pressing in the second half. I think their players are trying their very best, but we don't get our timing right. There is not a misunderstanding of the message of what we need to do. We didn't defend well enough, and I'm not happy with that, but I don't think that's a result of miscommunication or a lack of clarity of the idea of what we need to do with those situations. Jonas, your team defended like a nymphomaniac facing a doorknob. Honestly, they just... they just everyone following and desperately trying to chase the same thing, and just
So this is
I
our
don't know
timing is
what
off,
you're watching.
but the defending wasn't miscommunication. So which is it?
Yeah, on lifting the players ahead of Saturday's game against Chelsea, a lot of the same things we need to improve on today are going to be really important against Chelsea. Well, you're buggered then, aren't you? We saw yesterday against Real Madrid what a strong team they are on crosses, and that caused Real Madrid a problem yesterday. So we need to improve defending crosses massively. There are different things we'll need to focus on, and we have no choice to put this game behind us and take the necessary learning for it and getting ready from the task on Saturday.
Right.
But can I just point out as well, 10-goal striker left on the bench. The 10-goal Messiah left on the bench again as well.
Don't go, Messiah.
Yeah.
Because looking at his lineup, looking at the tactics, looking at everything, like the subs were like didn't make an impact. Like it was so disjointed, wasn't it?
It's spectacular that he is managing to screw up a team that good that badly. Like Mark Skinner rings him up asking for tips. Like, honestly, it's
who do we keep on the bench? Who's our biggest name? Let's
it's the Rosa Kafaji thing is strange.
It baffles us. Why bring her in if you're not going to play her?
Especially if she's Swedish as well. So you'd think, he
Should be his go-to.
she'd be his absolute go-to. I mean, Kyra Cooney-Cross as well. But the thing that really struck out for me, Arsenal had 21 shots against Everton. 21.
How many are on target?
And of those, I believe less than half. I'll double check because I had that stat and then I saw his quotes come up. So I kind of switched to that one because it was more ammunition. But
no, I love it.
if we have a look at it, no, not Arsenal versus Everton. Mikel Arteta's incompetent as well, but no one. Here we go. Right. So highlights. How did they find 5 minutes of highlights out of that?
It's all Courtney Brosnan. That's what it was.
Everton had
Alexa
5
and
shots.
Alex Greenwood having a fight. Sorry.
I know. I just saw that.
Everton had 5 shots in total. Arsenal had 5 shots on target.
Wow.
That's. I looked to think of Arsenal's goals ratio is 6 in every 100.
6 in every 100.
Which is even worse than my camera placement just then. Like, but the thing with it as well is it's a humbling for Arsenal. That is, like, genuinely.
Oh, yeah.
That people will turn around and say, "Oh, I got a point," but it is a humbling for Arsenal. I can see why Mr. Arsenal is so annoyed. Even allowing for the fact that Arsenal fans are not the most calm and well-adjusted bunch of people when it comes to talking about their football team in general. Yeah. Firstly, because some of them thought they'd win the title this year, but also, like, this, it is like a massive fall from grace. I mean, all of the talk as well about, oh, we're the biggest club and everything. Drawing 0-0 to a team held together with spit sellotape and a prayer in a half-full Emirates is very, very funny if you're not an Arsenal fan. But if you are an Arsenal fan, you're going to be sat there panicking because he's got a plan It
Ah,
just
2-0. Sorry.
2-0 to Man
scored.
City.
Yeah.
Done as well.
Why doesn't this count for fantasy team?
And this is a perfect example actually, because last season
There's no one on her.
Arsenal and Man City were supposed to be the level, and
Mm.
they were supposed to be the level to meet. And Arsenal were like, well, we can keep up with Man City. It's close. Man City this season are playing in the Champions League, beating Barcelona
Beating Barcelona. Yeah.
fairly comfortably,
Yeah.
and Arsenal are having the worst trip to Munich since someone went into a beer hall. It's like, honestly. There you go. That was a history reference. I saw Freya's face. Freya got that one.
Wasn't the best one, but yeah, it was a history reference.
It was a Nazi Germany reference, everybody.
Yeah,
But like, it's just
it's for Arsenal, for the players, for who they are. No offense to Everton, but Arsenal should be beating Everton, and they should be beating them quite there. Hello,
convincingly.
quite. Yes, I'll say it again. But yeah, it should be the top teams taking points off each other. It shouldn't be Everton taking points off Arsenal. I mean, I'm so happy they've had that opportunity to do, because it shows anything can happen, and that's why we love the league. But especially, it's going to help Chelsea. It's going to help City. You know, it's Chloe's buzzing about, because that wouldn't have been one where they thought, oh yeah, like we'll get 3 points off that one. We don't need to worry about that one.
Arsenal have been flattered by the first two weekends. They were flattered by a lucky ricochet that let Beth Mead score the equaliser against Man City.
Mm.
And they were flattered by a defensive mistake against Leicester. Leicester should have got a point on that one, because Arsenal were just incompetent. They moved about the pace of your average Arsenal team bus. Like, just, I don't know. It
could have been worse as well, couldn't it? Because Van Domselaar made a couple of nice saves.
And the point was made, afterwards as well. Van Domselaar made some key saves to keep it at 0-0. And if Everton had won it, I don't think Jonas would have been coaching tonight. Genuinely, I think that would have possibly been the final straw.
It makes you think, though, isn't it? What's it going to take, if anything, for Jonas to go? Because something's not working, and if they've maybe tried everything else,
I mean, does he have pictures? Do we reckon? Are there
or like
brown,
blackmail?
is there a brown envelope somewhere that gets released if he gets sacked, and the owners know this? Like,
we said the same with Skinner, didn't we? Something's going on.
Let's see what happens on Saturday.
Is it just incompetent people in polo necks? Like, is that just is that a fashion? Is also 2024 in the WSL? Is the in thing incompetent blokes in polo necks? And they're just following the fashion, but like, it's one of those things that I just turn up. You know, again, I've said this about Skinner, and I'll say it about Idewell. He manages with the misplaced confidence of a bold man comb shopping. Like, you just don't know why he's there, and yet he still walks in there, and he's still confident.
He'll take one of everyone. Yeah, absolutely.
With 3 hairs in a comb over. He's that guy in the pub with 3 hairs in a comb over who still thinks he has a full head of hair. At this point, it's like, Jonas, we can all see. Just make a change. Just do something.
Yeah, because again, we mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but we'll say it again. Ian Wright's come out not only on his podcast with Steph Horton, but on his Wrighty's House show as well, to basically say Jonas is stifling any kind of creativity. He's not letting them play. They look robotic. They look fed up. They look miserable, and that's not, what they're painting the picture that Arsenal is. So hopefully something changes and they get their personality back, because they keep talking about the glory days.
I
And
mean,
there's-
Ian Wright played for George Graham, so he's got a cheek telling a team being robotic and being 1-0 with 1-0 to the Arsenal and all that. But yeah, he's.
it's, oh, another one for you. Should Van Domselaar have played in Champions League tonight instead of Manu?
I don't think it would have made any difference. I think
Yeah.
I
that's
genuinely
true.
don't think it would have made any difference.
No.
He's got one goalie who definitely isn't the starting goalie, but he's playing in the Champions League, and another goalie who was supposed to be the big star signing, and the team she left didn't care. So, like, you know, it's. I don't know what it is. Arsenal are like Game of Thrones in that everyone says they're awesome, but anybody who actually watched it realizes they're crap. Like they were good a few years ago, and then they just kind of
didn't live up to expectations.
didn't live up to expectations.
Absolutely.
Jonas Eidevall is Daenerys. Like, he's Daenerys post season 6. He's just the bit where everyone has kind of realised that actually it's not a very good character and it's badly written and he doesn't know what he's doing, and he should probably have stopped 2 seasons ago. So there you go. Arsenal are Game of Thrones. They've gone on 2 seasons longer than they should have had, and the hype is finally run out.
Love it. Now I'm just imagining Jonas in a big wig now. It's just a white on the sidelines next game. He's just got like a long flowing dress on, just like on the side.
Leslie Russo going Dracarys and then the Dragon Flame going 15 feet over the net. Just, you know. Actually, yeah, imagine if Leslie Russo was a Dragon Rider, it'd be amazing because she'd say Dracarys and hit someone 30 feet away from where she wanted to.
You'd be standing away from it thinking you're safe, and then the aim just goes out. Damn it.
You know, just she shoots like an Italian rifle backwards. Like, just.
Oh, God.
Sorry, I'm just throwing them all out here at the moment.
No, we love it, and that's why we're here. We're not really here for the football. We're here for you, Paul. That's what this is.
Arsenal need to pull their fingers out, and Jonas Eidevall probably is reaching his limit. And I think all of the a lot of the fans think that. I think he's lost the fans now for sure. Yeah. And once you've lost the fan base, it's very difficult to get them back.
Yeah.
And Ian Wright thinks he's lost the dressing room. And
which is very telling, yeah.
I reckon we're vote of confidence point now. There's going to be public statement with the corner flag at the Emirates saying Arsenal would like to reiterate their confidence in Jonas Eidevall as the man to carry the team forward. And then 2 weeks later, you'll get another one where he's sacked.
Yeah. Ross has put a good comment there. Chelsea and Man City have made Barca look mortal. Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about it all the time because Paul, they're your favourite team, aren't they? And it's just.
Are you trying to get me in trouble here? Is this what it is? It is great though because it means they
need to have that challenge. Yeah,
they can finally shove that ticky tacky tippy tappy rubbish up their rear ends, and it's getting shown up for what it is now by.
Well, Alexia, Kira, and I missed the third one have just come off. Kika Nazareth, Vicky Lopez, and Paredes, I think, just come off.
Oh, that's what you want when you're 2-0 down. You bring on a centre back. That's Everton hard management. That is.
I think it popped up not long ago. I think possession has been 50-50. So Man City are like genuinely like cold in their own.
Yeah. They've been really good. I'm really impressed because after the match at the weekend, I was a bit like, I know they said full focus on the match, but are they? They're definitely looking towards Barcelona, and this is why. Like, they've just got so much attack about them. It's insane.
But this is going to be my absolute dream year, isn't it? Arsenal are going to get exposed. Mark Skinner's going to get exposed, and Barca are going to get exposed. I'm just going to be sat here every week grinning like a flipping horse on an overdose of ketamine, just like every single week.
Oh god.
And there you go. I'll be.
So, hey, tune in every week, guys, for Paul's rants. No, I love
Very
it.
much for you.
18 minutes.
Yeah.
Sorry. Wow.
And you know what? We're still laughing.
That's why they never get clipped for the That's why they never get clipped, is it? Just
Sounds just like, oh god, 18 minutes.
Whole YouTube video.
Yeah. It's a whole nother podcast, to be honest, Chloe, with that one.
we haven't even mentioned Man United yet either. But
I know, yeah. So, well, yeah, we'll mention it briefly. Why not? Man United, Chelsea, of course, was postponed. Champions League. It was the right decision, but the fact it had to be made so late anyway, when the fixtures were out for over a year, is ridiculous. So, FA, what's it called now? WPLL. There's some letters shoved together. That isn't even a name. Yeah, they need to pull their finger out because it's is it? Plus, Chelsea then not having a fixture for 10 days. That's also a detriment to them. So yeah, it just hasn't worked at all. So this is how things stand. At the end, excuse me. After match day 3, it's not looking good down that bottom end of the table. However, City, Chelsea, Brighton, United, Liverpool, Arsenal in 6th. Yeah, it's really not the start of their season. But of course, they've only played a couple of games. There's still a long way to go, so we won't look too far into it yet, of course. Now, looking at those match day 4 fixtures, Chloe, I know you'd be looking forward to Arsenal, Chelsea. Are you predicting a bit of a Chelsea dominance there, or how are you feeling about it?
Yeah. I feel like we've just got to go for it and just tear Arsenal apart. I'm looking forward to it.
Tear Arsenal apart. Right, we'll clip that bit.
If it doesn't happen, forget I said that.
Brilliant. Emily, are there any fixtures there that do you think are going to be the ones to watch this weekend? Apart from Villa.
Well, yeah, I think Villa need to. This has to be the weekend where it clicks.
Yeah.
If you look at Leicester being beaten by Crystal Palace. If it doesn't click this weekend for Villa, then there's a bit of a problem. But I think the Spurs United game will be close. I think Spurs can hopefully put up a fight there.
Yeah, I hope so. Paul, how about for you?
No, go on. Sorry, Emily. You.
Oh, sorry. And then Everton, West Ham could end up, come the end of the season, being a relegation decider.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because again, if we look at that bottom of the table, we've got West Ham and Everton both on -5 goal difference. So yeah. But I mean, as we've seen, it can be decided on a point. It can be decided on a match. It can be decided on goal difference. So everything counts with that one. Yeah, Paul, how about you?
Why are Everton bottom over West Ham? Because they've got the same goal difference, same points.
I don't know. It's just what sounds put together. Hang on.
Because it's not alphabetical. If it was alphabetical, it'd be Everton then West Ham, wouldn't it?
Let me check.
It's a cat.
Anyway, while you wait to tell us, I'll wait for you to tell us. You can tell us in a second. First of all, I'll pick my game. Oh, Emily, this is Nancy. This is the podcast.
Hello, Nancy.
There you go.
Yeah, it is. It's goals. Hang on, I've just had it up.
Is it goals scored because West Ham have scored one?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, so goals for 1 for West Ham. Goals against 6-5. Yeah, so it's purely because West Ham have scored a goal and Everton haven't.
I am intrigued by Crystal Palace Brighton as one of the derby games going on this weekend. We'll talk about the other ones going on a little bit later on.
Yeah,
but I'm looking forward to Man United Tottenham because I'm looking forward to Hayley Rasso scoring and outplaying Salim Bouzet.
That'd be good. That'd be very good.
In her Real Madrid shin pads that have apparently. a thing that
Because everyone was kicking off about that, but I'm sure, I don't know if anyone else picked it up as well. I think there was a problem with one of her shin pads because she was down for quite a while and she was messing with them, wasn't she? So I don't know if
Yeah.
they were like the spare ones she was putting on.
Get
Because
used to
one of
them. Oh, no.
And if they're your favourite shin pads, wear them. It's
Yeah.
not like on top of her socks. Like, they're hidden.
I mean, it showed up. It showed up the critical thinking. It was Jonas Eidevall levels of critical thinking from a bunch of fans who, if they had any less critical thinking ability, you'd have to water them twice a day. Like honestly, just some of the comments were absolutely. You look at it and go, really? This is how you choose to spend your life? Like you have been
The
given.
amount of discourse was insane.
You have been given around 70 years, 75 years on this earth, and you choose to spend at least half an hour of it talking about Hayley Rasso's shin pads. How empty is your life? Like,
Yeah, how much of a slow day is it for this
how
to
much
be?
of a day is it? Like genuinely.
Yeah.
Go outside. Go and
Leave the internet for 5 minutes. Yeah.
there's a whole big world out there, and trees and cars and service stations. Go and
Service stations.
visit them.
Exactly. Oh, I saw a sign for when we went down to Chelsea. Or was it Brighton? No, it was Brighton. We do have to shout out to Peas Pottage Services near Brighton. What a fantastic name. Fantastic name for services. And also, what was it? Clackett Lane?
Clackett Lane. You'll have seen the sign for Clackett Lane.
Saw the sign for Clackett Lane as well on my travels. I was like, yeah, this is it. Oh, Lizelle's gone down.
That's
Looks like a
amazing.
rankle. Please don't be a knee.
At least it's not a knee. Hopefully.
Oh,
See, this is
completely off.
Oh, it was a rankle.
Ball.
Oh, that was a weird one. She was
just
I
running.
think she landed on it funny. Tried to run off.
And then it went more.
And then it just went, yeah. Oh, ow.
that's the pitch. That might be a turf. That.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that looks a bit nasty. So yeah, this is in the 94th minute of 6 minutes of added time. But yeah, it looked like a rankle. So fingers crossed, not a knee. But yeah, it still looked pretty sore. Right then, let's head on to the championship, shall we? Now, again, some massive results, not only in terms of goals scored, but also who actually took the points. So, Chloe, I know you need to get off soon. So, Chloe, we're going to go to you first. Birmingham 2, Blackburn 0. So, Birmingham, again, started strong, had a bit of a wobble, but back and felt like they comfortably won this one. So, yeah, talk us through Birmingham 2-0.
Yeah, I agree. Pretty comfortably. I think it's good. They're sort of steady this season by the looks of it. I mean, it's early, but they're sort of being quite steady. Yeah, I mean, I think I noticed both of the goals came from corners and both headers. Well, actually, no. Both headers. One came from corner and one, I think, was a cross, I think. Yeah. And you've got the sort of young players assisting it as well, with Ashanti Akpan and Ellie Mason assisting. Yeah.
There we go.
We've got Louise Quinn. She's on good form at the moment. 2 goals in 3 appearances.
Big Lou Quinn, yeah.
Yeah. She's definitely one to watch. I think Birmingham sort of controlled the game in terms of possession, and they're just sort of clinical with their chances. Also, Blackburn struggling a bit this season, really, which is, I mean, considering what went on sort of pre-season, I'm not really surprised, really. Yeah, I think I'll give a shout out to Ellie Mason with the way she assisted the second goal. She had about sort of 3 different players around her who just managed to just get around and create some spaces, cross the ball in, and obviously Christy Harrison Murray headed in, and I was like, okay, this is good here.
Yeah, we'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, good win from them. Obviously, they're up in third, but obviously Blackburn, yeah, a bit worrying down in ninth. So, yeah.
Yeah, but luckily for Blackburn, Portsmouth are not having a good start to the season. So there's a couple of places between them there. Yeah, lovely. So yeah, a nice convincing win for Birmingham there. And it has finished 2-0 at the Joy Stadium this evening for City versus Barcelona.
City.
Barcelona look fuming. That's right. But good, I'm glad, because then the return leg is going to be really, really feisty. Cannot wait.
Just the two most objectionable fan bases in women's football, both getting hammered on the same night, is lovely.
Oh, I know, I can't wait to check Twitter after this. It's going to be...
Twitter's going to be amazing because it's just going to be Arsenal and Barca fans competing to be who can be more obnoxious.
The Barcelona fans.
Oh, did you?
I was going to say, what are the Barcelona fans going to be like? Barcelona. Got both of their teams, I've not.
By a combined score of 7-2, which is lovely.
Defense proper.
Yeah, Blue Pro's putting their ceiling good. It's scary. Yeah, no, they're really good. Hopefully Chelsea will solve their defence problem or will be embarrassing big loss at the Bridge next month. Oh, you never know.
What defensive problem?
I mean...
Like, if me and Chloe are both saying that...
Well, it wasn't as watertight as you'd expect, maybe.
Yeah, but I think...
I don't know. That's what Blue said, not me.
Do you think, Chloe, as a Chelsea fan, do you think that there is a thing where people are desperately looking for Chelsea to struggle so they can have something to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, come on, two games in the league, 8 goals scored, none conceded. That was just a blip in the Champions League. So, yeah, no defensive problem.
Or was it? Is this a star? No, Chelsea. I mean, you can't deny the quality of Chelsea. You just can't. And like we said earlier, like they usually do find a way to win, whereas Arsenal, on the other hand, are making it very, very hard for themselves at the moment to get those points. So yeah, we shall see. Stay tuned, and we'll be back for that one. Now the next one. So me and Paul. It's just between us two now, isn't it? So I'm going to I'll talk about London City next because this scoreline was insane. So it was London City Lionesses 5, Portsmouth 1, and I can confirm Portsmouth did not score any goals because that was a Cheney Boy Holoka own goal for Portsmouth. Poor Portsmouth, excuse me. So yeah, Portsmouth not having the best start, and our concerns are only growing, unfortunately. Now, Arsenal loanee Tia Goldie, because we're referring to everyone as what club they were at before. Ex-Arsenal defender Anna Patton. That one. She's what did we work out, Emily? She's been with us two and a bit seasons now, and she's still
probably 3 with the loan. Yeah.
Ex-Arsenal defender Anna Patton. No, just Villa defender. That's fine. That's fine. Republic of Ireland defender. Anyway, so yeah, Arsenal loanee Tia Goldie opened the scoring in the 17th minute after she headed it into the back of the net after an Emma McCandy free kick. Emma McCandy, by the way, very no one's talking about her, and I don't know if it's because there's a lot of people now who maybe aren't aware of that generational shift between these key players. But yeah, completely underrated. Really like Emma McCandy. And then Izzy Goodwin. We spoke about her all last season.
Former Sheffield United and Coventry United striker Izzy Goodwin, of course.
And ex-Villa.
And ex-Villa.
So we've all got a link. We've all got a claim to Izzy Goodwin. If we could just get her on the podcast, that would be phenomenal. We could just wax lyrical about her, do her in that case. And she netted herself a haul, which is 4 goals, if you're not too sure. Now, I'm going to describe all of them because they were all fantastic. So the first goal was a lovely little chip over the goalie that just trickled into the back of the net. Lovely stuff. The second was after Boy Hawker's shot was saved. It was spilled by the keeper, and she was able to convert on the rebound. The third was after a lovely little through ball from Grace Neville, and again, found the back of the net. 75th minute, the ball took a deflection off Janie, and she couldn't believe it. Her face was like, no, I've given away the clean sheet. But yeah, the defence was looking a little bit rocky at that point. Grace Maloney was fuming, as you can imagine, because she wasn't expecting it. And the thing that I just want to take a moment to say is that Izzy Goodwin, if you've watched her for however many seasons, or even just in this case, she never gives up. She is constantly box to box. She's following up. Like, there's never a moment where there's only one person in the box. She was there on the follow-up so many times, and 2-3 of her goals were because she was running into that space. And yeah, like, how many times have we seen WSL teams? There's been a lovely cross in the box, Villa, Arsenal, and there's no one there. Whereas you think if you had an Izzy Goodwin, you'd convert so many goals. And I genuinely think more teams need to take notice of her positioning and how she plays, because she's fantastic. So yeah, I think it's been a really good move for her to go there.
Well, the thing with Izzy Goodwin, here's a stat for you. In 70 minutes in that game, Izzy Goodwin scored more goals than a third of the Championship have scored all season.
Wow, there you go. There's a stat.
Her 4 goals are more than Portsmouth, Sheffield United, Blackburn, and Sunderland. Sunderland have scored 4.
Leave Sunderland out of this.
three of them were in the one game. So,
but no, it's so true though. Like, when you've got that talent, and I was talking about it with Sophie. She's so tall. Right, we've got conflicting reports. Does anyone actually know how tall it is?
6'4".
6'4". See, so I said 6'3". I read something 6'3". Sophie found something that was 5'11". I was like, that doesn't seem tall enough.
From the girl herself, 6'4".
6'4".
So,
but she's rapid as well. Like, she's so quick.
female Haaland.
Yeah.
And the way she runs and the way she plays, and we said it because obviously when she came to Coventry, we'd never heard of her, except she was obviously a Villa youth under 21 player. And the first time she came on, it's like, she is rapid.
Yeah.
Like, she is a racing snake of a player. She just, gone.
She's brilliant. Yeah. And I could definitely see her back in the WSL sometime very, very soon. Give it a season or two and she'll be back. Sean said 6'3.5". somewhere around there. But yeah, just completely towering. Yeah, the long leg just completely driving it forward. Absolutely.
3 foot of her at least is legs.
Yeah. In fact, if I stood next to her, it would be still leg. That's how this is. That's my comparison right now.
Like I am 6'1", and I'd be looking up at her. And I was when I was interviewing it, I was looking up at her. So
yeah. Oh, amazing. Oh, I love that. Yeah, we should totally try and get her on the pod and just get her point of view of like how everything's changed, how everything's going, and talk through, London City.
The point of view is probably from a higher vantage point.
I was going to say, was that a fun there? For...
How's the weather up there? Yes.
She goes upstairs without actually going upstairs.
Yeah. She hasn't upstairs. I did like Paul. I don't know if you saw this earlier. Paul's checking out the house to make sure Rosie's not there to get him.
Yeah.
Not tonight. She's not at the windows tonight. We haven't said her name 3 times. So she hasn't popped up yet.
It's her birthday. She's having a day off terrorizing me today.
In fact, it's also a present for you as well.
There you go. We make her sound so evil to people who haven't seen her before, don't we?
We do, but it's okay. It's true. We are the magical sitar. We only speak the truth on this part.
There's a reference. Good Lord.
Thank you. Okay.
Protect Poshy. There we go. I can say that. She's not here. Don't tell her.
Yeah, we'll keep it quiet. No one in the chat, tell her. So the next one, Paul, will come to you for the game that I kind of forgot when I was prepping. Sheffield United 2, Bristol City 4. So yeah, talk us through this one, because again, Sheffield aren't looking convincing, are they?
They're going down. Karma's coming for them.
Do you think?
I think because of, or some would say that because of the off-field events and the way they dealt with off-field events. Some would say that, what goes around comes around. They've got some very good young players, though. That's the thing. Like Eva Butler, their captain, I think she's 20, possibly, and she's come up through the academy.
Yeah,
and we talked about in the past few weeks they were a team to force people to get results and play through them. But Bristol City actually looked like a WSL team against them. They were 2-0 up by half time, or 1 up by the 55th minute. And at that point, Sheffield United just kind of seemed to not give up, but the game was controlled from then on. Because United actually had better shot accuracy because they had 7 shots with 4 on target, whereas Bristol were 12-8. So fairly close, but I think 4/7 is bigger than 3/4, just about. I'm trying to remember maths.
Ish, yeah.
Can you tell I didn't do? I actually took maths GCSE, maths A level a year early, and I was rubbish at it because I took maths GCSE a year early because for some reason they thought I was good at it.
Very clever clogs, yeah.
Oh, don't worry, it caught up with me. Still have nightmares about AS level coursework, which is a really mundane thing to have nightmares about, isn't it?
I'll still have dreams I've got history coursework due. It's like, why? It's been years since I've done history coursework.
Speaking of mundane, do you reckon Jonas Eidevall looks like the type of man who considers a yogurt an indulgence? Maybe that's the problem. He's so conservative. He considers flavored yogurt an indulgence. He's just there. I'll bet he only eats natural yogurt and doesn't put anything in it.
Just completely plain. Just nothing.
Completely plain. He eats dry toast without butter.
That should be, if you ever get a press conference with him, that should be the first question. What do you have for breakfast, Jonas?
He's the human equivalent of a ham sandwich. Just it does the job, but you wouldn't choose it, would you?
Sophie just said, has anyone else seen Bruce Littlejohn's impression of Eidevall? No, but I feel like that needs a screening. What?
I think it might have been in that new podcast she's doing with Siobhan. Maybe.
I don't think I'm caught up
I haven't
yet.
seen it, but I think that's what it was on.
She's definitely causing beef, isn't she? Risha Littlejohn is definitely on that podcast saying something that's going to get phone calls from people within the game.
She's fantastic.
She just you think going bad, she just does not care at all.
And that's a fantastic thing. And they were saying it was the one with Carla Ward, and they were saying, they always say, be yourself, show your personality. But you can't. You've still got to act a certain way, and you've got to adhere to certain rules.
As soon as you do, people don't like it.
Exactly, yeah. And that's why, Rusha definitely has a bit of a reputation, because she doesn't care. She's still very that old school of, no, I'm going to tell you what I think of you. Stuff being PC and all that jazz. This is how I feel, and I'm going to talk to you like that. Because they're saying how the dressing rooms have changed and how you can't really tell people what you think anymore. And there's a difference, isn't there, between being horrible and being aggressive and being, straight to the point and that kind of thing. So I can kind of see that, but yeah, I just love that she has no filter and she just completely goes for it. And her hatred of Arsenal fans is brilliant.
And justified. But I mean, This is a thing that fascinates me. Without getting too much into it, it fascinates me in women's football that there are certain players who can have done and knowingly have done the kind of things that would get a lot of celebrities cancelled or at least seriously hated.
Yeah.
And everyone just kind of wants to go, oh, women's football, oh, look, they're all friendly and they're all in whatever, everything. It's like, no, it's the Arsenal dressing room is like flipping footballers' wives of Essex. It's amazing. All the story, when you think about the fact that Viv Miedemar possibly cheated on Lisa Evans with Beth Mead for that perfect relationship that they've got now. And then you have Katie McCabe cheating on Rusha Littlejohn for Caitlin Ford. And
Who was with Leah Valti, yeah.
Who was also with Leah Valti at the time. I mean, no wonder it's a dysfunctional dressing room. They're all shagging each other. Like,
it's the Sodom and Gomorrah.
It's honestly, it's like, yeah.
Standard football team, really.
The next manager's the Marquis de Sade. It's like, honestly. There's a cultured reference for you. There we go.
Yeah.
Don't read that one before 9 o'clock at night, honestly.
It's after 10. Yeah, it's fine.
Bringing a sub on means something different in that book, I can tell you.
And we turn to the next page and we move on.
Emily's just there like, what have I ended up in the middle of now? Just no filter whatsoever.
I was just reading something. Yeah.
Next time Freya asks me to come on, I will be busy that evening. Brilliant. We were talking about Bristol.
I do love that Sophie says, by the way, about Rusha. I saw her doing a Q&A and she's very able to turn the media trained dancers on. That's even better because she just doesn't want to.
Oh, of course she is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you tell she's gone through the rigorous training and has now gone, no.
I don't care. Rachel Daly has no filter. That's because Rachel Daly is Northern. Like, that's the thing there. Just...
Yeah, yeah, she also has there's no poker face. No, you can read everything.
Well, on Rachel Daly, she just got no.
Even when she's playing.
Even when she's what, Emily?
Even when she's playing.
Yeah.
If something's gone slightly wrong, no, it's the end of the world.
Oh, you can absolutely see it.
It's the end of the world. It's so funny.
We need more of that and less of the Leah Williamsons. Because we need less of the brands disguised as players. Like Kate McCabe. Who I think a lot of the Katie McCabe stuff is her playing up to an image at this point.
It's it's that love to hate type character, almost like because we've said it before, there's things that McCabe gets away with, and everyone's like, that's Katie, and you're like, if that was anyone else, they'd be hell on. Because again, we were talking about the red card situation, weren't we, Emily, and kind of the disparity between the actual refereeing, because the one for Paola at the weekend, yes, taking the bias out of it, it wasn't malicious, but there was definitely a coming together, and unfortunately where it was. But if we look back at, it's my Laetitia last season, wasn't it? And that was an off the ball, and just Emily, do you want to talk people through that one and why I'm still so annoyed?
It was in the Man United game at the first game of the season at Villa Park. I think Ebony Salmon was running through. It was at the top of the box, so it wouldn't have been a penalty. But she did. It wasn't just a sort of crossing in front of her to obstruct her. There was a definite elbow shrug, something in there. But yeah, wasn't even blown as a foul. I think it ended up being a drop ball to United.
Yeah, and it's just even with replays, even with everything, that wasn't picked up, and that was the same game that Kirsty Hansen got a red card for that challenge, and you just think, how can it be so different?
In that, I caught it out of the corner of my eye in that Barca City game. I only saw the one replay that they showed, but I could see, I think Alexia had a shout for a penalty. The ball came in, and I think Greenwood stuck something in, elbow, whatever,
Yeah,
completely
she
off the
shoulder
ball.
barged, didn't
Down.
she?
Yeah. But that I don't think was dissimilar to the one that Paula got red for. So
Yeah, and it just shows you because they were talking about it on the in the Arsenal game, like, oh well, this is Champions League now. What's a foul? What's a this? And it's like,
I
well,
heard
no,
them
it
say
should just
that.
be
I was like,
foul,
yeah. What does that
regardless.
mean?
whether it's right down to grassroots or whether it's Champions League. If you foul someone, that's a foul. It doesn't,
It's probably a good job that Chloe has had to go, because the one I was going to mention was Kate McCabe deciding to body check Frank Kirby live on the BBC, and in that Arsenal victory over Chelsea, and the commentators didn't even mention it, though even in the replay you could see her get hit like she's run into a brick wall.
Yeah.
Because McCabe just runs straight across her and knows she's running straight across her.
Yeah, and again, it's just accepted. Just like, oh well, that's what she does. Even all the little bits and pieces, like when she hit Chloe Kelly on the head with a ball, it's just all those things that she gets away with. And yeah, it's just one rule for one rule for the other.
But I'll tell you who won't be getting away with it this season: Sheffield United, because I'm convinced they're going down after that. See?
Hey, back to what we're talking about. Well done.
Because they just don't look like a team who have enough at all. Like they are -8 on goal difference. They've scored 3 goals in 5 games, conceded 11. If it wasn't for Portsmouth, they would be bottom.
Yeah.
Blackburn at the moment, looking at Sheffield United and Portsmouth, breathing a huge sigh of relief. But
yeah,
just Bristol City finally playing like a team who'd come down from the WSL as well.
Yeah, proper going for it. Because if we do have a little look at the table, we've got Charlton, Durham, London, Southampton, Newcastle, Bristol. So Bristol's still in 7th on 5 points. But again, they, if they can come and really show their grit and what they're worth, that can all change, can't they? Yeah, Sophie's asked if there's only one going down. Yes. So there's only one going down because we've only got 11 teams. At the moment, anyway, things can change on a sixpence, can't they, in this in this league? But yeah, as far as we know, only one going down. So at the moment, that is going to be Portsmouth, because look at that goal difference, -16. For that one.
I'm not saying a comparison, but Coventry United's goal difference when they went down was -42. So,
-42.
Yeah. Because
I mean, that's impressive. That should be an award in itself, really.
we don't talk about that season for so many different reasons. We do. We just don't talk about Coventry United in that season for so many different reasons. Coventry United died after the Great Escape. They went up, they had the Great Escape, and then gloriously finished. That next season didn't happen.
No, we'll just forget. It's okay. We will mention it. It's not good. Now, I'm going to talk about the exciting one of the weekend. Charlton 3, Sunderland 3. Now, honestly, my heart was, I think I was trying to watch 3 games at once at this point, so that probably wasn't helping us anyway. But honestly, like going away, as the Sunderland fan in me, going away to Charlton was never going to be easy. Like, they're top of the league. We know what they can do. Sunderland, of course, not having the best start, but they had their week off. They had their reset. They took the points from London City last week. And you just think, okay, that clearly gave them a bit of confidence to go into this fight in. Now, it was definitely a tale of 2 halves. Graham, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but I hope you are for this bit. Because it was bizarre, this match, to be honest, because 8 minutes in, Kate Kitchen, again, I don't know if you have seen it, but Kate Kitchen's free kick just straight into the back of the net, and it was phenomenal. And Sunderland definitely looked the more confident of the two. And you just thought, okay, maybe they can do something here. Maybe they can go, Graham is here. Good, yes. Graham, get your thoughts in the chat, and we'll talk about him. And I thought, okay, we're 1-0 up. And then Jessie Stapleton follows up with her, I believe that was her first goal for the club as well. Coolly converted a header to make it 2-0. And you just think, oh, this is quite nice. 2-0 up against Charlton. What could possibly go wrong? Now, I will say Charlton are always a threat. Like, they never looked out of it at all. It was very much waiting for their moment. And then Barton steps up, managed to get one back for the Addicts. It was a lovely little floaty header. Not a floaty lob, but it was a little floaty header over Lambourne. And that was it. That was the start of the comeback, really. Now, Jenna steps up and puts away Sunderland's third of the afternoon. So that was in the 78th minute. Okay, so it was 2-1 for quite a while. Then it was 3-1. And then you think, right, okay, is this going to be it? Now, Jenna goal, it was a mini volley Thundy B. So if Danny would like to have the final ruling on that one, because it was quite a nice little one for that one. But you just thought, right, okay, 3-1, you've got about just over 10 minutes, see it out. Did they see it out? No, they didn't. The last 10 minutes it was as if we were playing. It was chaotic, right? Okay. And you just thought, what on earth is going to happen next? And Sunderland just capitulated. It just all went wrong. Now, Karen Muya came on and scored a brace in, I think, about 5 minutes. Now, the first one to bring Charlton back level. So Demi Lambourne, who again, I'll stand by, is looking much more confident. She saved it and then it slipped through her hands. So it dropped out and then Muya was there to convert it. So that definitely a goalkeeping error there, but it shouldn't happen. But you can just see Demi Lambourne was like, oh, why did I have to do that? The second one, Lambourne again, came. So the defence was nowhere to be seen. The defence were running after Muya to try and get her. Lambourne had to come out of a box and just left the goal kind of wide open. She tried to get it, but yeah, Muya just strode past and just took advantage and easily shot past. And you thought, right, this is, I think it was the 84th, 85th minute. And you're just like, okay, we're 3-3. Do not lose this. And thankfully, they managed to keep it, managed to keep on. But a massive point for Charlton to keep them top. But definitely from a Sunderland point of view, it was definitely the 3 points lost in that sense, or 2 points dropped, because they started out so well. Graham luckily supports that. Sunderland started really well, got at us early and didn't let us settle. By the time we got going, we were 2-0 down. I thought we showed great character to come from 2 down twice. Yeah, absolutely. It was a bit like the Alamo at the end. A draw was a fair result. Both teams deserve something from the game. Yeah, absolutely. So definitely a game of two halves in that one. But yeah, 3-3. I mean, Sunderland have found their shooting boots. And we'll take a point, to be honest. I'll take that. That sounds good to me. Davis put there, Lambourne had a nightmare, should have won. Yeah, again, defensive errors, goalkeeper errors, but again, they're all part and parcel of trying to beat the ones at the top, aren't they, for that one? Now we've got one more left, and this one I think is probably the perfect one to end on. Durham 1, Newcastle 0. Paul, talk to us about this one, because massive blow to the Mags. This.
I mean, I don't know why you think that. It's tragic to see a team defending a despotic regime beaten by a team who've been around for ages and who they were trying to replace. I think there's no way that could possibly be good for the game, except for in every possible way. Like, it did produce, by the way, before I talk about the game, it produced one of the most iconic pictures of women's football I've seen in ages. If you haven't seen it, go back through Durham's Twitter page. It was posted, I think, on Monday, possibly. It's a picture of Tat Saunders making an absolute flying save, like a full-on, arms outstretched, looking up at it, staring at the ball with
It's almost like the hand of God, isn't it? There's just like a slight like curve to the glove, like I was just like tipping it over the bar. Yeah,
she's arching backwards as well, so she's clearly, clawing it away.
proper going for it. Yeah,
Proper save. And you've got the classic thing. She's high above the Newcastle player, looking up at her with a kind of expression. And then my favourite bit, Sarah Wilson or Sarah McFadden. I'm not sure which name she goes by because it's Sarah Robson who was Sarah McFadden after she got married. Sarah Wilson is still Sarah Wilson because there's
Sarah Wilson, yeah.
But yeah, there's a fantastic, and it's Sarah Wilson looking behind her, and she's almost got this grin on her face, like, oh yeah, that's Tats doing what Tats does. But it is. I'll put it on my Twitter. It's an absolute. I shared it and just said this is an absolute iconic picture. You don't need to have seen the save to know this is an amazing save.
Yeah.
But it was needed because Durham winning 1-0 with a late goal at Kingston Park. The only way it could have been better, really, I suppose, is if they'd done it at St James's Park. But, they're not quite big enough for that one.
Yeah.
Newcastle having 17 shots, and 10 of them were on target, which tells you how good Tat Saunders had.
Wow.
How good a game Tat Saunders had. For comparison, Durham, 11 shots, only 4 were on target.
There we go.
But
Hey, Bunny takes one.
Claudia Moen didn't have much of a job, but she didn't do it properly. Which I'm sure you're gutted about. Grass isn't always green on the other side of the weir.
Wholeheartedly. Yeah.
But it was Durham just did what we said Durham would do, which was smash and grab and silenced the black and white and green and white hordes. Because they just kept plugging away. Molly Lambert, 89th minute, absolute agricultural goal, but they all count. Literally driving a tractor through Newcastle's defence, just bang. It's like, this is going in. Get out of the way. This is going in.
Yeah.
And that's it. And the dream for Newcastle is already looking like it's not going to happen this season because table-wise, Newcastle are sitting in 6th place.
6th, yeah.
7 points.
Yeah, with Southampton.
In 6th place, 6 points off the top. They have got a game in hand, so if we credit them, then only 3 points. But let's be honest. I'll hold my hands up here. Nobody expected Durham to be sitting 2nd.
Oh no, completely not. Yeah, especially after last season when we thought they were all gonna, go into a relegation battle.
They have absolutely been the old Durham who I remember when I first started watching in the league, where they were sat up 3rd and 4th, and people really feared them playing. And in the lesser Weir Tyne derby, first blood to the Weir, as it were,
exactly.
in that one. And
as it were,
let's as it were, sorry. And let's be honest, anyone who isn't from Newcastle is hoping that there could be a Weir side double coming up in the next weekend.
Let's talk about it, shall we? So, fixtures for this weekend. I cannot wait. So, the one, I'll go first, the one I'm looking forward to. Sunderland Newcastle, it's at the Stadium of Light. They've sold around 12,000 tickets. They've broke a record already for this weekend. So, if you were in the northeast this weekend, get yourself there if you can. Tickets reasonably cheap as well, from what I've seen. So yeah, if you can, get those numbers up. Because Paul, we saw earlier some fans would get themselves in a bit of a twist, weren't they?
Oh, that was amazing.
The poster for this one. So Sunderland released a graphic, and it was something like the biggest game in women's football in the Northeast for the championship or something like that. But it was to do
record
with
attendance for the championship or something.
yeah. Let's get
Record
it.
breakers.
Was important.
It was something like record breakers. The graphic was something like record breakers, and then biggest game in women's football in the Northeast. And then in the tweet it was, we're on for a women's championship record.
Yeah, so the biggest women's game in Northeast history, the Weirtime Derby, Stadium of Light, blah blah blah. So this excuse me, huge graphic. Now it's a race to 20k because they've sold over the 12. So it says a new Barclays Women's Championship attendance record will be set this weekend. So will be, so definitely will be set, which is incredible. So yeah, people clearly didn't read that graphic and got very upset because they thought people had just completely missed the point that Arsenal had sold out the Emirates and had 60,000 there. Well, like, no.
To be honest, it hasn't been mentioned enough that Arsenal sold out the Emirates. I think that.
Well, they barely mention it, do they?
I know. I think there needs to be more attention to the fact that they've sold out the Emirates because, you'd never know. Football media haven't mentioned it. You'd never know.
Not once. In fact, we had to dig for those numbers. Yeah,
we did have to dig for those numbers. I'll tell you what. We had to dig for the attendance against Everton. They weren't so proud of publicising that. They weren't so proud of publicising the fact it was only 2/3 full for Arsenal versus Man City on the opening day of the season.
No. Yeah, because how many was it at the weekend in the end? Was it 25?
25, which is less than half.
Less than half. Yeah.
Small club, less than half full. No support.
And I wonder how again, if there's any Arsenal fans in the chat, I wonder how they picked which games, because Everton have got some really good supporters, but compared to the droves that Arsenal take places and all, everyone else, it's not the biggest in terms of fan support, is it? So
I did see because I pointed out how amazing it was with Sunderland, and I had Mark, who is lovely. I think he's the press officer for Durham, and he's a lovely bloke. They cannot do enough for you at Durham from experience from going up there. And he pointed out that a lot of that attendance was Newcastle fans who'd sold out their allocation, and it's like, fair enough. I mean, Newcastle away fans are really, really good and everything, but lose the Weirtime Derby and they might start. You might see. But the main thing I did enjoy is firstly Sunderland men sharing it and talking about it.
Yes,
and also
that was a good shout from them.
And also the responses was from a bunch of people who may not have seen the women before, but all going, how are the lasses? Doesn't matter who it is, we want to beat them. All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
One tweet, one guy who I saw down there, who I nearly shared, but it was a random tweet and he only had a few followers, so I was kind of like, it'll be a bit weird to just pick this up and share it. But I thought I'll definitely tell you guys about it.
Yeah.
Tweets that he's coming back from holiday on the Sunday, landed on the airport and going to the game.
Amazing.
And he's like, and I'll do that, and I'll do that for anyone because, FTM, which anyone who watches will be fully aware of what that stands for.
Yeah.
Flip the mags, but not flip. So there's that one.
And it's that spirit of the want the lasses to do well, the want to really embrace, getting those attendances at the Stadium of Light and really going for it, and really making something of the fantastic support that were there. When I was at Everton last week, there was 512. I might have just made that up, but it was something around there.
What, Everton fans? Or what?
No,
512 Everton fans.
No, Appleton for the London City.
Appleton, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Appleton, not Everton. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I think they have realised as well, to give them credit. They have realised if they're going to get any game to get people to go and watch the women, it's Sunderland and Newcastle.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And if hopefully the lasses can win against the other lasses, because apparently, they both said the same thing.
Yeah, it's Howe versus Howe.
The Howe derby.
Yeah.
I do enjoy, by the way, how Sunderland insist on referring to it as the Wear Time derby. That is Everton calling their club shop Everton 2 in Liverpool 1 level
Yeah.
of play. Like,
It is. It is fantastic. Yeah.
this is the story for anyone in the chat, by the way. Look up the Everton club shop address because there is a shopping centre called Liverpool 1. The big shopping centre is Liverpool 1. Everton's club shop in that shopping centre is called Everton 2, just so their address is Everton 2, Liverpool 1.
Whoever thought of that must have been buzzing. It's just like, guys, guess what?
Guess what I've thought of. Yeah. It's our second club shop because it's not the one at Goodison Park, so we can legitimately get away with it.
We have a reason.
Let's call it.
I love it. I love whoever came up with that. Now it will be an incredible fixture. I'm going with me dad. We're having it early. We're going all fancy. We're going hospitality. Early Christmas present. Because again, if you go to the men's matches, hospitality is ridiculously expensive.
Mm.
It's only 30 quid each, I think. Hospitality. I was like, yeah.
Does that mean you get a posh drink when you can shout the mags?
Yeah. It's excuse me. I tell you actually,
I edited myself, by the way. Then that wasn't Sam editing it. That was me editing it.
Because it wasn't a glitch in the system.
Just in case there are any Newcastle fans.
No, you actually get it's a 3-course buffet. You get a team sheet to program. You get a drink at halftime, maybe. And then you get to watch the Player of the Match award afterwards as well.
Is the 3-course buffet like a stotty, peas pudding, and a parmo?
Honestly, it was mince and dumplings last time, and it was the best thing I'd ever had. It was fantastic. But no, it's proper good food at the stadium. But yeah, really enjoy that early Christmas present. But yeah, can't wait. Now, looking at those other fixtures, then Emily, is there one there that you're particularly looking forward to watching, or that could be a close one?
London City Charlton will be an interesting matchup because of obviously the money that London City have spent. It's got to pay off, and Charlton are the ones to beat. So
exactly, yeah. So can Charlton keep their top of the table? Paul, is there any other one for you that you're particularly looking forward to?
I mean, those bottom 3 matches, it is derby weekend, and I'm amazed they haven't made
more of it.
A little bit more out of it because you've got 3 big. Well, you've got 2.5 because London City don't really count as a football club. So you've got you've got the Time Wear derby and you've got the South Coast derby, which are both massively historic, derbies.
I haven't seen much promotion for Portsmouth Southampton, have you?
No, and then you've got Charlton playing somebody in a field. The I don't know what you call that one because it's not even the South London derby, is it? Because London City don't play. The Wish We Were Both in South London derby.
The Clackett Lane derby.
The Clackett Lane derby. That's the one. That's the one, Graham. Get that popular with your Charlton fans. The Clackett Lane derby. That's what London City versus Charlton is. And I think we're all supporting Charlton in that one just because actual football club.
And they're playing some really lovely football, like regardless of anything. Like they're doing really, really well. Graham says it's still the South London derby because they're still Millwall to us. He says they're nowhere near Clackett Lane. You definitely are, Graham.
All of London's saying, "What's a Parmo?
What's a pot, Sean?"
You.
Sean.
Sorry, I am a Midlander and therefore apparently not cultured compared to the Northeast, but I know what a Parmo is.
A Parmo is like a little slice of heaven. I say a little; it's not little at all, is it? So you've got, if you really don't know, it's So
have you ever had a schnitzel?
No.
Because isn't a Parmo like a big flat kind of meat in breadcrumbs?
Yeah, so it's chicken and breadcrumbs, and then there's bechamel sauce and more cheese, and some of them have some bacon in it. And hang on,
Isn't it a Middlesbrough thing though, a Parma?
is it what? Sorry,
Isn't it a Middlesbrough thing? Isn't it a Teesside thing?
it's a Teesside thing, yeah. But then it's kind of expanded to the northeast and kind of become a thing. Right. So it's a breaded cutlet of chicken or pork. No, it's chicken. With a white bechamel sauce, completely topped with cheese. And it's a heart attack on a plate, but it's worth it. And if you go on a night out in the northeast, there will usually be lots of food vans. Just everyone selling palmos. You just get them anywhere.
We have kebabs here, but down there they have. Up there, sorry, they have palmos. No. Hold on. You have a cheesy chip pie.
Who? What?
I've done Sunderland iconic food, and someone said cheesy chip pie.
Cheesy chip. I mean, I wouldn't put it past us for that one. The thing about the northeast compared to the Midlands and the South, cheesy chips in the northeast actually means melted cheesy chips, whereas everywhere else it's some chips, and you're lucky if you get a handful of grated cheese on. Whereas in the northeast, they actually melt it for you, and you just
a cheesy chip pie looks incredible. Pork pie with cheesy chips in it. It's amazing.
And on this award-nominated podcast, football podcast, we're talking about local delicacies.
I love the fact, by the way, that Stotty, which is just bread, is named after the fact that it should bounce if you drop it. Stotty bread. Yeah, it's just, if no one's heard of Stotty bread, exactly like Paul said, it's thick. It's like a proper like brick of bread, but so soft and so fluffy. And like a sandwich with Stotty bread is like the best thing in the world. So, by the way, also as well, looking to think, pink slice.
Pink slice, yeah, you don't get that anywhere else.
It's just what is the pink icing? Like,
Magic.
Is it just a thing in itself?
It is. It's a I always have to double check, but yeah, it's just pink icing. Yeah, just normal pink. Nice.
There you go.
I don't know, just pink icing. Yeah, pink slice. It's got
I
jam.
love how Freya's trying to justify it now. It's like an attack on something. It's like, why is it called a pink slice? Like,
I don't know. It just is. That's all we know. Right, here's one for you. Have you heard of pinnacle?
Yes, I have eaten pinnacle.
Emily's like, sorry.
I pronounce it panicelti because I thought it was like
Panicelti.
They tried to talk about Italians. They tried to talk about an Italian thing, and it's not. It's a casserole.
It is so. I always spell it wrong. It's awful. So panicelti, Emily, and for people in the chat, essentially, so it's from the northeast, but it was meant to be like all your leftovers. So like, obviously, we didn't have much, and we were poorer in the northeast. But essentially, what it is, it's like layers of potato. It's like thin, like potato slices, and you can either have it usually with beef, maybe lamb, and like loads of veg and bacon and just like everything in together and in like a gravy sauce essentially. But yeah, it's like a hot pot essentially, like casserole type thing.
It's corned beef hash.
It's just beautiful, to be honest.
You're wrong because you don't call a bread roll properly. Anyway, it's a batch. Yeah, it's a batch. Chip batch. Sausage batch.
It's a butty.
Did you hear that? It's after the watershed now. I just had my lovely Northern Irish partner decide to go full Northern Irish. And there goes Nancy, who's unimpressed as well. Just literally turn at me when she heard me call it a batch and go, and I kid you not, and I quote, "Shut the fuck up."
That's love. Yeah, that's what it is.
You know, she's lived there nearly 15 years, 13, 14 years, and she still refuses to call it a batch because she's wrong.
It's not a batch.
It's not a batch. Yeah, I'm with Carrie on that one. It's not a batch. Emily, any fun food dishes from where you're from?
No, we have a thing called toothpaste cake.
Is it minty?
No, wait, no,
No.
what's it called? No, chocolate toothpaste.
Chocolate
Sorry.
toothpaste.
Chocolate toothpaste.
What's in the name of
It's
toothpaste
basically
cake?
like a chocolate tart, basically. So like moussey sort of stuff in a pastry. Yeah,
Where's
it's not very exciting compared to yours, and it's nothing really to do with toothpaste at all.
Oh,
Also, incidentally, a Coventry delicacy, we have one that I'm not sure I can technically say now because, but it is great fun to confuse Americans in particular with, because in this part of the world, minced beef balls in gravy, so like minced beef put together in gravy,
yeah.
are known as faggots.
Yes.
So you can see how that might be problematic
Yeah.
if you go into a shop.
In certain contexts, yes. If you don't know what you're talking about,
If
yeah.
you don't know what you're talking about. But it was great fun when we had one of our American friends over, and I didn't tell her. I just walked into a chip shop and said, "Can I have a faggot and pea batch?" And she looked at me like in complete shock, like, "That's what the hell?" And I'm just like, "No, a faggot over here is something you eat in a batch. A faggot and pea batch. It's amazing with gravy, faggot and mushy peas and gravy."
Oh, the English language, isn't it? Isn't it a wild and beautiful thing?
We have Coventry God cakes as well.
God caked.
Yes. Which
Are
are
they omniscient? Like what?
which are like, apple turnovers that you get in supermarkets that are like the triangle things.
Yeah.
Mm.
Imagine those, but one of them has had an unholy union with an Eccles cake. So like, it's one of those, but full of raisins and mince. It's
Raisins and wow. Okay. That feels like it should be a Christmas cake.
No, it's a fairly general thing, and we also have. I'm trying to think what else we have in Coventry.
Yes, in the local church.
Warwickshire, we have a load of stuff. Coventry God cakes are indeed made in the local church. They are often sold in the cathedral, and they have a cross
Actually,
in the bakery. Like they actually do. I
How
want
you
to find
got
a picture of
them
them
in?
now. Like I want to find a picture of it now. They are baked puff pastry pasties containing mincemeat. So basically, a weirdly shaped mince pie. But
there you go.
yeah, because we don't do things properly in Coventry. We do things our
Yeah.
own way. As
You know
anyone
when you've got a sneeze and it's stuck like halfway in your nose?
oh
So
god,
have you got
see, I'm just trying to keep talking then while you sneeze, just like right on the end of the nose.
No, I think it's a sign we need to wrap up. I think it.
Was that a hint? Shut up talking about food. It's 11:15.
No, it's the time. Yeah, can't talk about anything on this show, can't we? So we did talk about football at some point. If you have just joined us, we did talk about WSL match day 3, the Women's Championship, Champions League. We recapped it all because we're that good. We're that good to you. Now, thank you everyone for joining us in the chat. Remember, if you don't follow us on socials, ta-da, here we are. So on Twitter or X at Absolute Ball Pod, which most of you do interact with us, so please do continue to do so. On YouTube, we are at Absolute Football Podcast, and the same on Twitch as well. On TikTok, we are at Absolute Football Pod, and Instagram. You know, you look at the icons and you're like, that one is on Instagram and Threads, Absolute Football Podcast _, and on Facebook, the Absolute Football Podcast. And remember, it's not just us on a Wednesday talking women's football. We've got Premier League on a Monday and Lower League on a Thursday as well. Now, I feel offended. You're not ill by any chance. No, I sound just grumpy all the time, Sophie. This is my general state of being. But also, we might mention it once or twice. We are award nominated in the Football Content Awards for 2024. Look at our lovely little faces. So if you haven't voted for us, please do so. We are nominated for 3 awards, 3 for the Best in Women's Football best new creator, and best in non-league as well. So if you haven't so far, the link is just if you search Football Content Awards or the FCAs, and then voting closes, I believe, in about 2 weeks. So if you haven't voted, please do so already. And we're going to go. The award ceremony, the final, is on at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on the 21st of November. And it'll be a fantastic night out regardless. But would love it if we did get something.
I think Mark's going to present. If Mark's going to present it, I am there. If I find out Mark's going to present it, I will eat baked beans for a month to be able to afford that ticket. Right.
Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine if he did?
Just for that picture of me taking an award from Mark Skinner and grinning at him and going, "Well, this is one more trophy than you'll take, lad."
I'm just imagining you're in like matching polo necks going up and just.
I'll give it the full matching polo neck as well.
Yeah, that's what that's what's going to happen. But yeah, so if you haven't voted, please do.
I win, you lost. It's the same but different.
It's just different. We're still adjusting. We're still adjusting to the league. But yeah, the podcast itself, I think we worked out we've only been around 10 months, maybe. So not even a year, and we've been nominated against some fantastic names. So yeah, if you can, would absolutely love it. Graham's just said he'd hand over the wrong award.
Oh, I've got a whole comedy sketch on it. Too late.
In fact, regardless of what happens, Paul will get you to record that as all the different characters, so you can dress up as all of them and just have a whole moment.
We'll just have to go back and forth.
Yeah. And Graham's reminded us you can vote more than once. Yeah, different browsers, different devices. You can absolutely vote more than once. Yeah, here's what you could have won, Mark. Yeah, absolutely.
No, Mark, that's the best in non-league award. No, you can't play it in defensive midfield. No, I don't need 6 months training to get. Just give me the fucking award, will you?
There is no time. Give it to us. Now, again, thank you so much for everyone getting involved. We absolutely love it. We love our little community here on our Wednesday night show. So thank you to Emily, first appearance. It wasn't too bad in the end, was it?
No, I managed.
Sorry, Emily.
Choke myself to death as well, so that's okay. Thank you for having me.
Anytime, you're welcome back anytime. Paul, thank you very much. Paul, if people want to find you, where can they find more of you? They
can find me. It's very small today for some reason.
It is very small. I don't know why.
I've got a really big finger.
Is it just really close to the screen?
Oh, have you seen my broken finger?
No. Well,
my finger doesn't stretch. Look.
What? Have you? What?
I have a crooked finger because I slashed the tendons.
Oh no!
So it doesn't straighten because I was fixing it and it healed, finished. So there you go.
No.
I've got a Halloween hook finger. But
you could play so many pranks with that finger. That would be good.
Oh, believe me, the number of drinks I've won, but I'm like, you can't get my hand flat, and I go, what? And I'll just hold it like that, and I go. I'll be like, they're going like this. What's wrong with your finger? I'm like, stop holding your finger. I'm like, I'm not. Look, see, it's a lump. But yes, I will point. There you go. It is Paul W Radio on there, and don't worry, everybody. I'm not on next week, so we'll finish before 11 o'clock.
But don't worry, we will schedule in some rants. So
although saying that, Ant's on, and it's the Wear Tyne derby, so yeah,
exactly.
Settling.
Yeah, so there won't be any lack of quality next week. That's for sure. And if you want to follow me, I'm at Freya Writes across all socials. Yeah, come and find me, mainly Instagram and Twitter. And you can find me and Emily on our new Aston Villa Women podcast as well, live Thursday nights at 7:30, and we are at part of the Pride Pod if you want to come along with that as well. So thank you very much. We will let you all go to bed. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Thank you. Goodbye.